Welcome to this week's edition of Take 5. I got my brother, Mr. Mike Lowry, 214 in the building.
What's up, y'all?
We're going to get straight to it, bro. Straight to it, because I've been getting a lot of questions about did you leave 3 Ps in a podcast and what happened. So tell the people in your own words.
Yeah, so there has been like a lot of talks about me leaving threes in the pod, and I get it, because like when you build something from the ground, people get to notice when there's a change, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the truth is, like, I needed to step away, for my own peace and my own focus, right? So it wasn't nothing about bad blood or any type of drama. It's just about growth. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So like sometimes when visions start to go a different direction, it's better to take a step back other than forcing something that doesn't feel right anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So like when I started this podcast, I started it because I wanted to connect with people and have real conversations. That's the fun of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and don't get me wrong, that part of me it still hasn't changed. But I just needed to like realign and move in a different direction that fits where I'm at now. So that's all what happened.
All right. So take 2. It's almost tax season, and you're a professional when it comes to that. I get credit where credit due. You the reason the IRS gave me a break when I didn't want to pay them a few years ago. So can you give some insight on the biggest mistakes that we as a people, as a whole, make when it comes to filing taxes?
Man, honestly, the biggest mistake that people make during tax season is trusting random folks off the street or social media to do their taxes, right? So every year, I see people crying on social media. They be crying because the person who did their taxes, who they supposed to trust, they ran out with their refund, or they gave them like a fake high amount and got them audited. You know what I'm saying? So like, what I always tell people is the first thing that you should always do is like protect your personal information. Okay? So whoever you let file your taxes, when you give them a quote, you don't have to give them your personal information. When I say personal information, I mean like your social security number or your physical address, just for a quote. If they ask for that, that's a red flag. You need to walk away, okay? And then the most important thing, like when it comes to taxes, is make it make sense. So like, if you barely work and you think that you're getting 10 racks back, like, come on, man, that ain't realistic.
Right.
So you gotta make it make sense. Like you can get like 1K or 2 back, but 10 racks, like, come on, make it make sense. So yeah, you gotta look for those red flags and use your common sense when it comes to filing taxes. But the most important part, don't give nobody your personal information unless you're ready to file. Because like if you're looking for quotes, they can give you information without using your social. If they say they can't, don't trust them.
Okay. Take 3. You've been in a relationship for a long time. I watch you get engaged, argue, go through your ups and downs, get re-engaged, become a super dad to your son. I always see you at the football games. So what advice would you give somebody, especially a YN that's going through a hard time in a relationship right now?
Ain't nobody perfect, bro. Relationships, you have arguments and disagreements. Even our grandparents went through that, They don't talk about it, tell their business, but they went through the same struggle that we're going through. You have those who've been out in these 50-year relationships, but they don't tell you what they've been through, You know what I'm saying? So like the key to that is communication and learning each other. Okay? Them are the 2 key things, okay? And then you also have to learn how to apologize when things go left. And I feel like that's the mistake that a lot of people make. They don't know how to apologize and have those communications, to patch things up, right? So like another thing that, like learn how to spend time with one another, you know what I'm saying? So like, I mean by that, like take trips, even if you can't afford to fly nowhere, you can take road trips, go on dates, learn each other language. That is
Okay.
that is the key thing. It's just it's not about like how far you can go, but it's about like the effort that you both put in to reconnect and really to understand each other. So
Okay.
that's the key.
All right. Take 4. I want to get a little more serious on this one. The fans from 3Ps, from my page, from your page, the trollers, the ones who like to joke about everything. They talk about the way you talk, your speech, call you little colorful names like rainbow and all that. What words do you have for them? Because I know they watching right now.
You know what's funny? It's funny because those comments usually come from your fans. I'm serious. They come from your fans because peep this out. When I post every day, like any contents, I get like random people comment. It can be YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. And I never get those comments. I get negative comments. We all get those
Right.
here and there. But like about that, like come on, like be for real. And like don't get me wrong. Like we all have some type of words that we all mispronounce. Like me,
Right.
like me, because I talk fast and I stutter. So me putting the S at the end of men's when I know it's MEN. You know what I'm saying? Like you use it, like if you using that to judge the person about their character, and then something's wrong with you, and then like also what is not okay when it comes to trolling somebody is if you can't say that stuff to face, you shouldn't say it on the internet. But long story short, like I call those keyboard warriors. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't let none of that get to me. I just keep doing my thing and keep pushing.
All right. And you just helped me because I had a troll a day. I ain't going to even say your name, little boy, but go play.
But what's funny about this though? Mike Epps, he spoke about this before, and he said, it was like a troller that kept talking BS. And, he found this address. Turned out he was 12 years old.
Yeah.
So we see all those people who be on there with no profile picture talking smack. You know what I'm saying?
Probably a child.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't let none of that get to me. Especially like for an example, like we had one of those topics, and then I was marking Eddie Murphy. How he was refused on Norbit, and he was like, "Hey, bitch," and I used that. And one of them, they used that like, "Oh, he gave like, come on, man, me mimicking a man who played a character in a movie and using that as a funny comedian line. You got to think about that, like that says a lot about the person. You know what I'm saying? But I don't let none of that bother me.
All right. So last question, take 5. If you had one legacy to leave behind, what would you want people to remember you for and why?
That's a good question. If I had one legacy behind, I would want people to remember me as somebody who never give up. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who keep pushing no matter what life throws at me. You know what I'm saying? So like we all been through our ups and downs, personal issues
Right.
or in the profession side, but I always found a way to turn my pain into a purpose. So like if I was to leave this world right now, I want people to say that, I kept it real, I worked hard, and I inspires others to do the same, and also, a great father. But like at the end of the day, to me, it's not about the fame or the followers. It's about leaving a mark that makes people believe that you can bounce back no matter what you go through.
Okay. That's a wrap, y'all. Take 5. Mike Lowry 214 in the building.